my goodness. Oh my goodness. April Fools, April Fools, April Fools, April Fools.
Oh, you know, that's my song.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
Love that song. And the funny thing is I love her version and I love Aretha's version and Dionne Warwick's version because they sing it very differently.
Oh, okay.
Aretha makes it that kind of sort of jazzy number.
Right.
And Dionne Warwick's version is a ballad. It's like this power ballad. And
I'll have to listen to that because I only know Aretha's. Anyway, hi, Courtney.
Hi, it's us. Welcome to I'ma Let You Finish with Cheryl Teague and Lola Falana.
I want to be Lola, for fuck's sake.
The funny thing in my head is I was like, I know that hoe's going to pick Lola. I know she's going to want to be Lola.
Okay, listen. If you had well, not for nothing. Cheryl Teague turned out to be like kind of a weirdo, so that's not so bad.
Did she turn out to be a weirdo?
She was like one of the... I don't want to talk about Cheryl Teague. Ah!
Well, no, you have to finish that now.
No, I just remember didn't she go out with Peter Beard for a long time? And he was a weirdo.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there was something going on.
Haven't we all fucking dated or fucked a weirdo? I mean, let's just be honest about that.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I'm usually the weirdo. And then
yeah,
that.
Exactly.
Okay, so, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Right.
Spring up there,
it's a spring up there. All right, so we decided today because it's just a lot, and there's a lot going on, and you know what's going on in the world, and we don't want to talk about it right now because neither one of us want to day drink, or maybe you do, I don't. So what we've decided to do in honor of spring, we're going to do our spring cleaning episode.
AKA, this show is sponsored to you by fuckery. Because there's a lot of fuckery going on. And mystery.
But before we get to that, we're just giving you a heads up. This is going to be Courtney and I just talk about, like, it's going to be are you kidding me with this shit? Right. Are you kidding? This is going to be, but before we get to that, I didn't watch the NCAA because it was too late, but yay, Baylor won?
Yeah, they won. They beat the Zags, and the Zags were number one, and everybody thought they were going to win, and Baylor came in there like, not today, Satan, and they motherfucking swept it up, beat them, like, Baylor had the lead from the beginning and never gave it up, and they won. And I heard the game on Saturday. A good bunch of kids. Yeah, the girls were good too. That was that came down to like a point.
No, I'm talking about the game that got Kazanga. I heard that was like a phenomenal game.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, so I didn't watch it because, it was on past my bedtime.
And you don't care. I thought you were more of an NBA person in college.
No, I'm not basketball.
I'm not a big college hoops person. I'm really more
college. Well, I'm sort of the as long as Duke doesn't win, I'm good. And let's face it, boys and girls, if I could be, it's the last time you get to see that many white Americans playing basketball. So if you're kind of like, where are the tall white men? There, and that's it. And then they disappear unless you're Chris Mullin.
Right. That's hilarious.
I love Chris Mullin. Do we want to talk a little bit about verses and then go into Law and Order?
Yeah, listen, here's the thing. I don't really, you and I have talked about this before. We're both kind of over the moment of it all. But especially since, can I just say I'm mad that they sold it? Because I do think ownership is important. And I think who'd they sell to? I believe they sell it to like Apple. Didn't they sell it to Apple?
What, Swiss Beats and Timberland sold it to Apple?
I think they sold it to Apple.
That would make sense to Apple Music or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
That would make sense.
I just hope they still have the ownership in it because I think ownership is really important. If you're going to keep doing these things, please tell me you have ownership in it and you didn't just sell it to Apple. Anyway, listen, I didn't watch all of it, but I will tell you, when I turned on and heard the few times I clicked in, motherfuckers were singing their faces off. Philip Bailey was singing his face off. You know what I mean? It was just like Ron Isaac was singing his face. I'm like,
once we figured out that was Ron Isley because nobody. I was like, who's that nice gray-haired man sitting on the couch?
He was laced and dipped. First of all, they came in. This just reminds, you know what it did? It made me sad for some of today's artists. I'm like, listen to these songs. that still sound amazing, that still have everybody twisting out, and you try to compare it to anything that's coming out today, and there's not a thing that gives me any of the feelings of what that shit was giving.
Well, Isley Brothers, a hit in 6 decades. They have had a hit record in 6 decades. I, too, dipped in and out because 90 Day Fiancé season finale.
Did anybody get married?
Yeah, most of them got married.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. But the ones, the reunion show is in 2 weeks. I'll recap it for you. But, you know, and also I have the attention span of a gnat, and I'm watching I'm watching something on my phone and stuff. But you know, look, I love Earth, Wind and Fire. I love Isley Brothers. I love Isley Brothers more, to be really honest with you. But I love Earth, Wind and Fire. It was a perfect matchup. Steve Harvey needed to be taken outside and slapped. He was the MC. He made it all about him.
You know what's really funny? Every time I clicked on, I never actually saw him. I just heard what people were saying about him. First of all, I don't find him funny. I don't find him funny. Dude,
I can't stand him either. Yeah, no,
I don't know why he gets under my skin.
No, he gets under your skin because he's like a cornucop. He's a corny motherfucker. But he's a corny motherfucker. He has a mean. You can see he's mean. There's something mean about him. I don't want to get like, we'll get like hate letters from like church ladies.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't like him. I don't like his suit. So I do enjoy, there's nothing I like more than a man in an ill-fitting Steve Harvey suit with the Nehru collar. But it was great. If they did sell it, and I have to imagine both Swiss and Timberland are no dummies. I have to imagine they have ownership. So let's hope that. All right. An important thing happened last week, Courtney. An important moment in American history. Elliot Stabler came back to Law and Order.
Now, I don't know if you know this about me.
I think blind people know this about you.
But I tend to watch 3 things.
Yourself in the mirror.
A 4 a.m. newscast, because I have weird insomnia hours.
Still?
Yeah, sometimes. But I'm sleeping much better now, actually. Good. But I still wake up really early. But I'm sleeping much, much better. Sports, everybody knows sports. And what is on my TV in the other room in the background playing? Law and Order.
Dun, 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 dun,
and I have not loved SVU in a really long time.
Me neither. Me neither.
And I probably have not tuned into a new episode of SVU in a long time until last week to see.
Me too. I haven't watched it because I
don't like the new cops.
I don't like the new cops.
That show does not work without the right police.
No, and it's like, and Mariska Hargitay, who is my Hungarian homegirl, so I do want to root for her.
I love her. That's my girl.
Yeah, but she's overacting like crazy, and it's just too much, and it's like Kelly is annoying, or Amanda, whatever her name is, they're all annoying.
There's not that. The thing about Dick Wolf and all of his Law and Order shows was he was always good about putting together the cop duo, even when somebody left, that keeps that show moving. And I feel like SVU still does not have that combination.
They don't have chemistry. None of these people.
But you didn't watch Stabler's new show.
I watched part of it. I did watch part of it.
Now, the fact that how they brought him back, the Kathy angle is crazy. So we don't know if anybody. Well, it's right, because if people haven't seen it, we don't want to say what happened and be the spoiler. But that angle is crazy, and I thought that the way they flipped the Law and Order theme. See, this is my geekdom. The way they flipped the modernized Law and Order theme song for his show is great, and I like the way they filmed his show. It's really good. It's good.
You like the new Law and Order theme song? I hate it.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, and there's also no dun-dun. There's no dun-dun.
Well, because his show is, if you notice his show and the way they do it, it's one long continual story.
I know, but you need a dun-dun.
No, I don't think his organized crime needs the dun-dun.
You need a dun-dun.
No.
I only watch it when, and you're going to laugh when I tell you this. This is going to show you how much my brain is atrophied during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I was like, there's too much talking and plot going on. I'm confused. And there's no subtitles.
Right.
Yeah, please.
Of an episode you see 80 times, you're like, I'm upset. I can't. I can't follow along with
No, I can't, really. It's new Law and Order, and there's a plot I haven't seen before, and I have to pay attention. I can't deal with this.
It is good. And you do have to pay attention because it is a continual story.
No, and I don't want to see those Stabler children. I'm not interested in those
I like the Stabler kids. I like that the original kids came back.
I like that. Who names the kid Dickie? That's all I want to say. But it was great. Here's what I hope, and then we can move on. Here's what I seriously do hope. I hope that they don't make this an Olivia and Elliot fucking thing, because I don't want to see that.
They're not going to make it that.
I don't want to see that.
They're not going to make it that. They won't. Not at this point. They won't.
No, and it is interesting how they're handling Elliot Stabler, rogue cop, in the age of, like, maybe we shouldn't let the police beat up people. But it'll be interesting to see what goes on. Anyway, so... if you're a Law and Order geek, last night was like the Beatles getting back together, or last week. I mean, it really was like 10 years in the making. All right. And justice for Kathy. That's all I got to say.
Justice for Kathy.
Kathy. That actress was so beautiful, too.
I love Kathy. Her character is always great.
I love Kathy and their house in Queens with their 5,000 children. All right.
And Kathleen, who's always turning it out.
No, who's the one that was bipolar?
Kathleen.
All right, so a kid was missing because there was Dickie, Eli, another girl. There was one girl missing.
Kathleen was there, but maybe I think on this week, because this week is Kathleen. Well.
All right, whatever. I'm hoping maybe they'll bring Ellen Burstyn back to play the mother.
Who played the mother? Oh, she did play the mother.
And she was great.
Who played Olivia's mother? Who was it? It's a famous actress. Who played
Oh, really? Google it!
Yeah. Hold on. Keep talking. Keep going while
All right, I'm going to do the lead-in. All right, so, all right, Demi Lovato. New York Magazine, their online site, has done, and I'm not even lying, in the past week, 6 articles about Demi Lovato and her record and her documentary. Now, I have to start off by saying this. Demi Lovato seems like a perfectly nice person.
Ashley.
Oh, I love Elizabeth Ashley.
That's who played her mother. Her mother was on like an episode or two before, she died, so I can't remember.
God, we just really went off base, but I love Elizabeth Ashley. No. I love a hard-living, chain-smoking, whiskey voice woman.
Right.
Yeah, and she's cat in a hot tin roof. No, I love Elizabeth Ashley. All right, anyway. Well, that's because Olivia's real mother Olivia's real mother is Jane Mansfield.
Jane Mansfield, yeah.
Right. Go, Jane. All right, so back to Demi Lovato.
Oh, Demetria.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I'm being very serious. I have to preface this by saying that she seems like a perfectly nice person, and I am no way, shape, or form trying to belittle, negate, question any of the things she's going through. Mental illness is no joke. We all know people, ourselves probably included, just undiagnosed, who deal with it. Right. Drug addiction, alcohol addiction, these are no joke. I mean, this is serious shit. Sexual abuse, no joke. Trauma, no joke. It's just getting to the point with her, and I believe everything she says, but it's just because she has a new documentary out called, oh my God, I wrote down the name and now I can't find it. Like Something with the Devil. It's something with the devil. It's just kind of getting to the point, and she has a new album out, and it's a YouTube documentary. It's just getting to the point with her and with a lot of these young stars where at some point you're like, why are you sharing all this with us? Are you sharing it with us so that we can see ourselves in you and be better people? Are you sharing it to kind of purge yourself? Is it performative? Because, and it's also the fact that she's talking about making an album, and it's been getting great reviews. I'll be honest, she's not someone I really pay attention to, but supposedly it's a great album, and that's cool. But you shouldn't make an album about how you're sober and conquering and being sober when you have then also said that you still smoke weed and drink, and that's the way you're handling your sobriety, and every couple of weeks you get injections of something to block opioids. You're not sober.
And here's...
And that's not a judgment. I'm saying, but don't put it out.
Judgment. What you're saying is kind of how I feel a little bit. It's like we've been on this ride with her for now I feel like a very long time. And
Right.
what I worry about is her trauma is becoming part of the art.
Mhm.
And so now it is a sort of, it's her life, but it's being played out as performance art. And just from being around, having friends who've dealt with addiction and seeing that up close, knowing what that really takes to absolutely conquer it and the focus and the drive, I don't know if it is the healthiest way to always have all of your art surrounded around
Right.
your health in any sort of way. And I think some of that is really private, and I think for you to overcome it and to have a successful life, because it is a lifestyle change. It's not about, well, I'm doing this today. It's like people in diets, right? Diets don't really work. You have to change the habits, change
Right.
all of that kind of stuff. So when I see her, and it's been a few years there's been overdoses, there's been crazy stuff.
Crazy stories, yeah.
I just worry that as a young person who's grown up in the system of, being a Disney kid and having a lot of young fans and sharing and social media, that sometimes they don't know when you have to be able to separate your art from your actual human self and really take care of your human self. I'm not saying you can't write about it. I'm not saying you can't talk about it. But now it always seems like there are certain people, and we've seen this, you and I have been around long enough. We've seen people who make the trauma of their life becomes part of their art. And there's some people, and I'm not saying this is her, but there's some people who, get that thing where people like them when they're sad. They like them when they're going through all that.
Right, exactly.
Like, well, that's when the best is coming out of them. And that's not healthy either. And there's some people also feel like my best is coming out of me when I'm really going through something. So I just worry about it always having to be a public display.
It's the publicness of it. And again, I know people, we've all struggled with our stuff, and there is a reason why it's called Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, because there is, and I understand and this is not in any way, I don't know the woman, but obviously she seems like a very nice person.
And we want her to be well. She's a young lady.
I don't care. She can do whatever, honestly, but there just seems to be almost a checklist that young performers, it's like, the drugs and then the sexual abuse. And I'm not saying this doesn't happen. Of course it happens. And then it's like, I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm panto. It's like, and I get worried, like you said, I'm like, maybe don't fixate so much on it, because when you're having, people singing happy sobriety to you when you're on stage, or when you're talking about it, like are you doing the work if everyone is watching you work? That puts a lot of pressure on you. And her sobriety is not the kind of sobriety that you or I or the average person can have. It really isn't,
Listen, and it's really hard when you're famous like that. People will bring you anything like she said. When she I thought it was heartbreaking to hear that she was kind of sexually assaulted in a way and left for dead. And you just figure, that world, you would think somebody's going to be like, hey, I've got your back. And it's just, I don't know, it's dangerous. And I worry for the young people, because you can't, I absolutely understand growing up in the world in an environment of sharing. But to really do the work for yourself, you don't need the opinions of 20 million people. You have to go really do that work for
your
yourself.
album. You can write about. There have always been artists who write about addiction and write about their personal.
Yes,
but if this seems a little too tied in, this seems like promotion at the same time, and it's worrisome, because it's okay, what happens if? I'm not saying it will, but what happens if the album flops? She has tied her personal life so much into this, and I don't know.
Remember, I think I said something early on when we were doing the show. Remember back in the day, and I used to say, stop taking your cues from people whose idea it is to sell you something.
Right.
Because the thing is, it will sound really good, and there are parts. I think you can be inspired by certain stories, and if that can give you the strength to be like, I know I can do this. I've seen somebody do it.
Right.
You see an example, but it's not a roadmap for you.
No, not
You
at
know
all.
what I mean? It is not a roadmap, and I just want that. I want any person struggling to be well. I always worry about the entertainment aspect of it because the truth of the matter is, when you're putting out these records and it's a YouTube documentary and all of that stuff, it is business. It is business. There's no way to separate the two. And I heard the kitty. There's no way to
the cat literally just was like, I object to this. I am a Demi Lovato fan, and she just literally knocked over the mic. She was like,
I just want her to be healthy. I want any person struggling to be healthy.
And her sobriety.
I want anybody in the public, these young kids. The pressure of, listen, I think about some of the shit that still affects me as a almost 54-year-old man, just from years back that play out in my head. I can't imagine if it all plays out in front of the world. I can't imagine going through my insecurities in front of the world. So I have a lot of empathy for her and for young people. But like you, I also see where it's like the mixture of the two doesn't always make me comfortable because there is a business side. It's like, all right, my pain maybe it can help somebody, yes. But it's also the weird part where it's like, are you okay? Are you fully where you need to be before any of this is even coming out?
Well, maybe it can help somebody, but it's also, and then we can switch. She is. Look, it's like she is, and it's great. She is able to have a lifestyle towards her sobriety that none of us can have. Okay,
right.
So she is working on this, but I just find it. I'm always very nervous when people are advertising stuff like that. I feel like some stuff needs to be kind of be sober for a long period of time. You've been sober for 2 years. This is not, don't advertise it, because I know plenty of people, and I'm sure you do, who fell off the wagon.
But we've seen her. This is 2 years from this time. She was sober before, and that's the thing. We've seen her have these stumbles, which is what addiction is.
Yeah,
it is not a straight road.
Not at all.
It is not a straight road, so that is not a judgment. I just worry that sometimes it's like, make your music, say what you have to say. There's certain things that's like, just because you, as a person who's, and like, especially if you're saying, but I still do these things, it's like, what's the message you're putting out? So you're saying to some of these other people, well, she can do some of the things, like, it's a private, personal message for you.
Right. Yeah.
That I think there are parts that are okay to keep to yourself.
Private.
That is my thing. People have to, because you share does not mean you owe the world everything. There are things you can keep to yourself. It is okay to keep shit to yourself.
All right. Yeah. Speaking of keeping things to ourselves, all right. Someone explain the Army Hammer thing to me, please.
I'm still trying to figure it out.
All right. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out.
When it started,
I can't figure it out.
When it started, I thought, okay, this is just the girls weren't comfortable in some weird fantasy shit. And I blew that off because I was just like this. Listen, everybody, if most people really ask what's your deepest, weirdest sexual fantasies, people would probably say some crazy shit. So that was the word. But then I started hearing like rape and different. I was like, well, wait a minute. What? I'm still not sure what's happening.
I'm still not sure.
But it seems to be coming from a million directions, and I know that he was married, and maybe the wife has divorced him or divorced him.
I think they're divorcing, and he's been dropped from numerous projects. His agents have dropped him. I mean, him being into some kinky shit, whatever. As long as no animals are harmed during the making of this movie, I don't care.
Right.
Rape is obvious. Oh my God. Are we still there? Are you still there? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Spoonie now walked across the keyboard.
I love the fact that Spoonie, first of all, everybody, anytime I've been there, Miss Spoonie is like, Spoonie's the one I met, right? Well, kind of met.
Spoonie's the white cat, white cat, and Strudel is the striped cat. They're both out and about now, but Strudel really doesn't care about my multimedia activities or the teaching.
Excuse me, hi, excuse me, I'm just going to walk across. Yeah, I don't, Miss Thing, I have no idea what's happening. I just know that this is
rape is one. I mean,
every direction.
No, rape allegations are very different from somebody saying, "I want to chew you." Okay, that's a little weird and creepy. But like, is he Jeffrey Dahmer? I mean, it's very weird. Okay, so I don't understand that. All right, so we've agreed. We don't understand it. Okay, I
have no idea.
The T.I. and Tiny thing. What is that? What's going on here?
Okay, so I think the issue there is, you know, they evidently, allegedly, like to, you know, do like a lot of couples do and bring other people into their home. But some of the women are now saying that they were forced into situations, I think, and some of them are saying that they might have been given drugs and then made to do stuff, and it just, I'm not sure, but if I remember correctly, somebody was saying they might have been 17 and that. It's some weird shit. Listen, Atlanta bullshit. Atlanta.
I was going to say, I also wanted to say, wasn't Candy Burris
shout out to my friends in Atlanta. And shout out to Atlanta. But y'all, honey, that's the thing about rich people and Atlanta. Rich people everywhere are freaky deaky. But the thing about Atlanta is, you know, Atlanta is a city to me. I mean, you can agree or disagree with me. Let us know when you hear this in the comments. But a lot of people in Atlanta seem to be on a come up too. So it's a weird place.
Yeah.
A lot of amazing people. And then the entertainment section of Atlanta seems to invite, because, you know, Atlanta has this whole successful music scene, but a lot of weird shit and weird energy. So I don't know. T.I. and Tiny thing is very confusing also because. But
didn't Candy Burris also get accused of like having dungeon sex with Portia or something? Maybe it's an escape. Maybe it's escape.
But the thing is with Candy, right? The thing about Candy is Candy got that shit straightened all the way out. And it was very clear. It was like, especially because Candy has a sex business, you know, with sex toys. She was like, I'm not playing that. What you will, you know, she stood tall, and that was cleared up very fast. VH1 like stopped production on their show. I don't even think the reruns are running. Yeah. And it's interesting how it's gotten very quiet. So I don't know if that is deals are being worked out, but whatever that shit is between them and Deshaun Watson, who I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan, and then
who's Deshaun Watson?
He is the quarterback for the Houston Texans.
Wait a minute. Oh, him. Yeah, that's right.
And you know, he got a really big contract, a lot of money guaranteed last year. He's trying to force his way out of Houston, and all of a sudden now there are 20 some odd women. I don't even know. Can I just tell you something, Amy?
I believe. I mean, come on. But I mean, the T.I. and Tiny thing. I will say one thing though. Mm-hmm. If they were like, it kind of says it's almost like it should be a bigger story than it is, and maybe because she's like,
it was huge for a while, but you know, we're in the 24-hour news cycle. They actually got about 2 weeks out of it. But I think because you get people. The thing about all of these stories is now, if you don't come with any kind of proof, people will give you the coverage for a couple of days, but you need like a video and pictures and things for our media to really take it to that other level to say this is it. Because now it really is their word against theirs.
I would not be surprised if it were true to some extent. And that's all I'm going to say. To some extent.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some truth in there. I wouldn't be surprised with just from dealing in the music industry and some of the things I've dealt with throughout my years. If some of it is some Atlanta come up bullshit.
Yeah. I think there's a little stuff.
Because there's a lot of people in there. So I'm like, you know, listen, I think you and I have said this all a million times. Is everybody lying? Like when it starts becoming numbers where you're just like, okay, like this is crazy. Is everybody lying?
Well, here's one person that all of America can agree is guilty of sin, even if he did nothing. Matt fucking Gaetz. Okay, never has a man. He makes Ted Cruz look like.
I mean,
Matt Gaetz. You know you're bad. How do you know you're bad? You know you're bad when no one is defending you because the Republicans hate his monkey ass.
Guess what? If you are a person who really feels and you're an intuitive person, The eyes are the window to people's soul. You will be able to tell some shit. There's a feeling. When I look at him, I just the guilt is all over him. I see him, and I'm like,
I don't think he's guilty.
No, you've done. I'm like, I don't know what it is you've done. I'm not going to say one of the million things that are coming at you've done, but it's in your eyes that there's guilt. So which one is it?
Oh, no,
Is it all of them? Is it some of them?
He is guilty of something, but he feels no guilt. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I don't think.
Well, right now he's in the full trying to make a defense where there's none that really makes sense. And then, isn't there like an adopted Cuban son that came out?
Nestor. Poor Nestor. Well, I mean, the thing that's actually really, in hindsight, well, first off, there's a couple things that, according to, news sources, that nobody in the Republican Party is surprised by this. So that's terrifying, because he's a glad hand. He's a showboater. He's never done anything legislative.
Yeah, but that's just it. They all know the real truth. They know the show, so they know who's a dick and who's a liar, because they've been doing this show. So now when people get caught, they're not gonna defend the people who've been doing that. They're just
but nobody cares about it. And the other thing that's creepy about him is that he's the only person who voted against a sex trafficking bill to ban sex trafficking. So that's like saying, I want to vote for cancer. Who's for sex trafficking? And he also voted that that revenge porn should not be illegal, that it should be okay to share revenge porn. So there you go with him.
But that
there you go.
Know everything you need to know.
There you go.
Right
I mean,
everything you need to know. Can you imagine? Who says? I don't think the sex trafficking bill has in it what it needs.
Sex trafficking. I mean, define sex trafficking. Okay.
Right. He's like, why do we need? Why do we need this? I don't.
Right.
I'm just trying
but
to
she told me she was 18. Okay, sure, Matt. Nice going. So he's guilty of sin. I don't care. There, you don't need a trial for him. He's guilty of sin. He's horrible. I can't stand him. I cannot wait for him to just implode.
But here's the thing. I have Republican friends.
You keep saying that. Why? Why do you have Republican friends?
I look at them sometimes and I'm like, listen, there are people in the Democratic Party I hate. But some of these motherfuckers, I'm looking at them like, how do you defend this?
Well, they're not.
Just because he's a Republican? Like, how do you, like, this is crazy. These people are straight up like criminals. They're straight up criminals.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The thing is interesting.
Like, listen, you don't see, none of the Democrats are like, oh, listen, I like Cuomo as our governor, but I'm not standing back saying, but you know what? You should stay. No, you gotta go. If you did the shit that these women are saying you did, you gotta go.
Well, but the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Nobody is defending Matt Gaetz. Nobody's saying anything.
Let's see, right?
No, nobody. But it doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to say is that he is universally loathed. So he has nobody who's saying this couldn't be. Even his boy, because it's like, he's guilty. He's fucking guilty. And he's just some rich boy who bought himself a seat. I cannot wait for him to implode. It makes me happy.
I got telling my friends about Bill Cosby. I was scared. I got into a real debate with this dude about Bill Cosby, this black dude in the bar once, and he was like, and you should. I was like, we have to stop doing that as black people. Just because you're black doesn't mean you can't commit a crime. Just because I loved you on TV, I said, you don't know Bill Cosby. I was like, Bill Cosby has been Bill Cosby since the 50s. And I said, Bill Cosby hung around with a whole bunch of those comedians and men. I said, you notice when this shit finally came up, not one of those men who were his friends for 40, 50 years, not one of those powerful men was like, that's my friend. He would never do anything like that. Not one. And to me, that is the true tale of when people know you do some shit. When your powerful friends who you have been friends with forever are not the first ones to be like, not my guy.
Well, that's why you should be nice to people, because when you're not nice to people, they won't defend you, right?
Well, how about don't do fucked up shit? Because
there's that too, but I'm saying
what we notice, it always comes out in the wash. It doesn't matter if it's 10 years, 20 years.
Florida man. All right, let's Are you listening? I haven't been really listening to a lot of new music, but I've been
I've
playing
been
it in
only listening
Nordic.
to Yoko Ono.
I know. I've been playing a lot of Bowie lately.
Really?
I've just been playing Station to Station, which I think is my favorite album of his. It really is. And I've been playing Station to Station, and I've been playing Young Americans a lot. I've just I don't know. I've just been, maybe I'm getting my Luther fix in too, but I haven't really been listening to a lot. Not for nothing, shout out to us. We got so many rave reviews for our last playlist. Everybody was loving it, Courtney.
Oh, thank you. That was good.
Loving it. So I've been listening to that because I just thought it was so fabulous. But I haven't listened to anything new.
I've been listening. For some reason, I've just been in the mood to dance because it's spring, and so I've been playing a lot of my old Paradise Garage type records, and just finding old vinyl that I lost from the fire and just replacing it. And the latest one was my Yoko Ono Cape Clear.
Oh my God!
It has the Walking on Thin Ice. Jonathan Watt 1985 re-edit that is so it just brings me to a place on the dance floor at the garage where I just was like, wow. So, I've been doing that. Loose ends, like I told you before. Blondie. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Blondie.
Interesting. All right, yeah.
The All-American album, been on repeat for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I just been, we want to wrap things up on a serious note and just acknowledge. Sadly, we are taping this on a Tuesday. It will drop on a Thursday, so sadly, we don't know how this story will end. But we certainly want to recognize the legacy and the creative importance of Earl Simmons, aka DMX. He is currently on life support in White Plains. He suffered a heart attack. His life has been troubled. He's always been very open that he's had addiction problems that preceded him being famous. He has had a checkered past, but from the music is undeniable. He was the first, maybe still the only artist to have his first 4 records go #1 on the Billboard charts, which is really important considering that he's a rap artist. By all accounts, a really nice guy.
I would say the first. That's changed by now, but I think he might have been. He
was. But
listen, he has a tremendous career, and it's just, what's really sad about this story? It's just that, man.
It's the story of addiction. I mean, it really is.
And it's the thing that we were talking about earlier, and it's like some people were always passing me clips of his because when he'd make clips online, he would always be saying something that was kind of prolific, really smart guy. Yeah. And I just want people to take care of themselves. Just take care of yourself.
Yeah, and this is not a stardom thing. This is just it's a sickness.
Everybody has nothing, because he had every resource. You think about every resource in the world available to that man, and everybody would try to help him. And it's a disease. It's a disease. Sadness, and it's a sickness. And I have empathy for anybody going through it.
No, of course. And like I said, not to be the Duchess of Doom, but it does not look good for him. I mean, he is in intensive care. But the point is that just, to acknowledge how great he owned New York. He was the sound of New York City hip hop in the early 90s. And
because we're Puppy and those cats, had a New York sound.
Rough Rider, all that stuff.
And it was very glossy. This was the street for real.
No, he was great. So,
and he carried that with him through all of those records,
So we want to, for anybody listening or,
we're sending
who's a
prayer,
fan.
we're sending light, we're sending love, we're sending energy. We're enveloping his family, his children with love and light. Yeah. And we're just asking you all to, take care of yourselves,
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves.
And so we don't want to end on a bummer note, but just an acknowledgement of him. We will see you next week. Please continue to be safe. If vaccinations are now open to everyone over the age of 16, so make an appointment if you can do it. Save yourself, save other people, be safe, be happy. Anything else? Court? Do you want to wrap it up?
Because, damn it, don't y'all all want Taco Tuesdays again? I know I do.
Can I tell you something?
Well,
you know how I know it'll all be better? When the churro ladies are back on the subways.
You know I love the churro ladies.
I would love a churro show. We gotta get a sponsorship, a churro sponsorship. Churro.
All right, so remember, follow us on Instagram. I'm gonna let you finish NY, Facebook. I'm gonna let you finish all one word. Instagram, Finish Ima. We're on Stitcher, we're on Apple, we're on Google, we're on Spotify. And
we're not on drugs, though. That's important.
Right.
We're not on drugs.
Follow our partner Listening Party Presents on IG. We will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Take care of yourselves. Deuces. We love y'all.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.